And I'm actually going to start sharing my screen with you guys now. I wish you guys could see what's on the other side of my computer right now. My cat wants to play fetch with her little ball. Here, go. Oh God, this is a bad idea. Let me give you this back because she's gonna come try to eat it. Yeah. All right, can you guys see my screen? Can I get a yes or no? Can you guys see it? Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And I hate that this thing makes me start from the beginning. I'm sorry, it always makes me do this. All right, so when we last left off last week, we talked about the Realty One habit. Have any of you guys started using this, like really using it? I'd love to hear feedback on this. Who's making their 3 phone calls? Who's actively trying to add 3 new contacts into their database daily? And who's writing these 6 notes per week?
I am.
Norma, awesome. Lorena, awesome. We heard a little bit of your success story last time, Norma. So Lorena, can you tell us a little bit about what's how is this working for you?
It's working very, very good. I also bought an CRM, and I'm working in my contact base. And doing a very good deals.
So you've been working on like everything that we've been talking about, and it is helping you?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you received any new leads since you've started training?
Yes, I have. And I did my 2 first wholesaler deals.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yes. I just executed the contracts, but I have 2 new. There are my 2 first wholesaler deals.
That's awesome. Congratulations. So
thank you.
For anybody that doesn't know, wholesaling is a form of investing, and essentially what it is she's picking up a property at a very low discount, and she's going to assign that contract that she's using to pick it up. She's going to assign it to an end buyer, and then there's going to be a split in the middle, which is what she gets to keep. So for example, let's say she picks up a property at $50,000. But after repairs are made, the property will be worth 130. It's a great deal for somebody that actually wants to fix and flip it. She might not want to fix and flip it though. So she bought it at 50,000. She's going to assign that same contract that she purchased it at to the end buyer, which is going to be the person that's going to fix and flip. She might assign it for 60,000. She tacking on $10,000. It's still a great deal for that end investor that's going to do the fix and flip. So she gets to keep that 10,000 in the middle. And that's just an example. It could be a little more, it could be a little less. But that's another great avenue to work real estate investment deals.
Yes, I'm representing the buyer, but
okay. You're representing the end buyer, the one that's going to fix and flip?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So yes, we've been talking a lot about the database. We've been talking a lot about making these phone calls. And today we're going to talk a little more about it. So jumping right into where we left off last week, it's really important for you guys to categorize, to separate your contacts by type, so that you can send them messages by group. So if you have an iPhone, there's a setting in your messages where you can go into the setting and it says group message, and you turn that off. So let's say that you guys just picked up a new listing in the 79932 area, and you look through your contacts and you have the people that live in the 79932 area. Remember, we talked about farming. So it might be a good option for you to reach out to everybody that's in that area, regardless of whether they're buying or selling, just to let them know, hey, I just listed a property in your area. By any chance, do you know of anybody that's thinking about moving right now? I'd love to go and show them the property. And you can send this out as a group message. Now I'm sure Android has something similar. I don't use Android now, so I'm not positive what that's going to look like, but for sure on Apple phones, I know that it does have that option. You just go into the settings. And you can just kind of do it temporarily. Just take off the group message setting temporarily while you send out this mass message. Also separate your contacts by source so you can identify potential customers versus referral sources. So this is important also. Whenever people come to you, make sure that you're asking them how they got your information. We've been talking a lot about tracking, right? We've been talking a lot about track the information that's coming in, track how many doors you're knocking, how many people are opening the doors, X, Y, and Z. So whenever somebody calls you, and you have no idea who this person is, you always want to ask, where did you get my information? Did it come off of a sign? Did it come from a referral? Did it come from social media? And when you put this person into your CRM, and remember, your CRM can be as simple as just an Excel sheet. It doesn't have to be anything fancy. If you want to go out and buy a CRM, which is a customer relation management tool, you can go out and do that. But if you're just keeping track of them in an Excel sheet, you do want to make sure that you know where this person is coming from. Where's this lead coming from? Why is that important? Well, it's important because we're trying to grow our business, and the way that Angie grows her business is going to be different than the way that Norma grows her business. The way that Norma grows her business is going to be different than the way that Lorena grows her business. For Angie, she might have an extraordinary amount of success on social media. She will only know that if whenever a lead comes in, she's tracking, this is a social media lead. Whereas Norma, she might be killing it in referrals. You're only going to know that if you're tracking it. So now, after a few months, you're going to look at your sheet on your Excel sheet. And you're going to say, okay, well, there's a pattern. There's a pattern. For every 5 leads that I get, 3 of them are coming from referral sources. So what should I focus on then? If I want to grow my business, then I want to focus on making sure that I'm getting more referrals. Well, who did these referrals come from? Are they coming from friends and family? Are they coming from sphere of influence, or are they coming from past clients? Now you can really dive deep and see, okay, well, but who exactly is sending these? Maybe all of these referrals are just coming from friends and family. Guess what? Now you just get to spend more time with your friends and your family. Now you just get to put more effort into your friends and your family, because those are the people that are feeding you. So now you know to shift your focus into, okay, instead of door knocking, because I hate door knocking anyways, and door knocking isn't even getting me fed, I'm going to focus on my friends and family. They're clearly sending clients my way and they're helping feed me. You know what? I'm going to make it a new goal to invite one of my friends and family out to lunch every week. I'm going to make it a goal to make sure that when I'm making those 3 phone calls to my sphere of influence, they fall within the friends and family category. Make sense? Sorry, go ahead.
There is an CRM app that is not expensive. It's a Wise Agent, and it's $30 a month. That is very complete.
Is that what you use, Lorena?
Yes.
Okay, so Lorena's giving us a helpful tip. Wise Agent. If you're looking into a CRM that is not very expensive, she said it's about $30 per month. Check that out, guys. And what exactly does the CRM do for you, Lorena?
A lot of things. They can manage your transactions, classify your contacts, manage tasks. What else? calls, for phone calls. Do
They make
send
the phone
text,
calls?
but yeah,
Oh,
they
wow.
manage your calls, and you can do marketing,
Okay.
flyers, emails. It's very, very complete for the 30 months, the dollars a month.
Okay. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, that sounds like it's very well-rounded. So if you guys are looking for a CRM system, definitely look into it. It sounds like it has a lot to offer. And remember, your CRM, it's there to help you stay organized. It's there to make sure that you are touching your clients, touching your leads as often as you want to touch, as often as you need to touch them. So remember, what did we talk about last Monday? Do you guys remember how many times you should be touching your leads every year? Does anybody remember? It was an excessive number.
Is it 30 to 40?
30 to 40, yes. 30 to 40 times. So if that's how many times you're supposed to touch your lead, that's a lot. And if you have a CRM system that'll do some of this for you, or at least help you make sure that you're staying on top of it, then that's super helpful.
Also manage your notes and cards, and
Okay.
exclusive to your client or lead. You can do that.
That's awesome. So it does like the note cards and all of that for you also?
Yeah. Yeah.
Lorena,
Very,
which CRM, ¿qué CRM estás usando?
is a wise agent.
Anaí put it in the chat box. If you guys want to look into it, check out the chat box so you guys can check it out.
Thank you.
But that sounds like a really good CRM. I'm definitely gonna look into it, Lorena, because I'm in the market for one too. So but it sounds really good. $30 a month, you guys.
Yes.
I know nobody wants to sign on for these monthly bills, but remember, you're a business owner. Certain expenses are going to come with being a business owner, and $30 a month is nothing compared to the amount of what you're going to gain in return for that.
And you can have a 14 days free trial.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have do they give you a link, Lorena, that you can use to refer us where you might get something in return?
I think so. Let me see it. I don't remember.
You have to check because you're
Yeah.
really selling this CRM, and I would love for you to benefit from it somehow.
I spend a lot of time reviewing it, and 3 days working on my contact data, and I think it's worth it. For the $30 a month. Yes, it is.
That's awesome. You guys heard that? She spent 3 days working on her contacts. Yes, that's 3 days that none of us want to spend working on our contacts, but it's part of the process. So we'll look into it for sure. Thank you so much for sharing that, Lorena.
You're welcome.
All right, so make sure that you're feeding your database daily. This is just a quick 1-minute script that they've provided for us that you guys can use. You guys can use this if you really have nothing else to say. Honestly, I'm going to push more the Ford, the one that we talked about already, but this is just an example and this could help you out. And it's basically, hello, my name is Denise. From time to time, I run across useful updates about the El Paso real estate market. I'm happy to send them to you. Is email or snail mail better for you? And this is basically if you're kind of doing more of like a cold call. I know sometimes I'll go through my contact list to try to clean it up. And I'm like, I really don't know who this person is. And I might call and use a script like this that's very generic to one, figure out who they are, where they came from. Maybe after I hear their voice, it might come back to me, but this will kind of help me clean up my database. This is kind of what I would use this script for. So if you're cleaning up your database, you're unsure of who this person is and if you should get rid of them or not, you might want to call and use this. I would usually start with like, I also want to know if they're a realtor, because a lot of times we have realtors in there and you know, they'll let you know. We talked about this. We talked about your consistent message, brandage. Okay, I'm going to move forward with this. Ford. Does everybody know Ford? Everybody should know Ford by now, but I want to review it if you guys are unfamiliar still, because this is a game changer. You guys must know how to use Ford. Can I get a yes or a no? Yeah? Okay, I'm gonna move on then. Nurturing your database. We went over all of this. I'm going to kind of skip through. This is the one that I wanted to go over. Okay. Social media. So a lot of times we get a lot of social media questions. We all know that we're really pushing for you guys to be on social media. Again, I was, for those of you that missed it, I was mentioning that I was in a meeting this morning with Mr. Juan Navia. He's a good friend of Gabriel's. He's a broker out in Miami, and he's having a lot of success with his company. And one of the things that he's really big on is his social media. So if you're not already, go and follow him, Juan Navia _ Mr. Broker. But he talks about social media, and he gave us like a really good quick pointer. He said, you know, what's important is for you to just, when it comes to your presence on social media, just post what you're doing throughout the day. Remember, guys, y'all are realtors. People like to watch you. They make entire shows out of us. Remember that. So post whatever you're doing throughout the day. I know that a lot of times it's outside of our comfort zone. And for most of us, that's at least the way that it's going to begin. For most of us, we're going to begin on social media kind of being outside of our comfort zone. But really challenge yourself to put yourself out there, because remember, we're challenging the client to reach out to us. And a lot of times that's really scary also. The client, as much as they want to buy or sell a house, it's a very scary process for them. And we're not mind readers. We don't get to know who's thinking about buying or selling in that moment. And we need them to reach out to us. So just kind of think about it like that. Like, look, they're going to put themselves out there to you whenever it comes time for them to reach out to you. Put yourself out there for them and let them see what you're doing throughout the day. If there's anything even remotely interesting about your day, or if you're meeting with somebody either within the industry or work related, put it out there. And then what Mr. Juan Navia told us is it doesn't all have to look professional. That's what your stories are for. Okay, so remember, we have our feed. Those are the pictures that are like on our page. Like if you go to the profile, these are the pictures that are on our page. That's our feed. Those can look a little more professional. Those can be a little more thought out, but your stories don't have to be super professional. You can just grab a really quick video or a really quick picture and put on there in training. Like right now, you guys can all just take a picture of your laptop and show the world, hey, I'm training right now. I'm learning. I'm getting up to speed with what I need to do better to service you better. That's the importance of trainings. You know what I mean? If you guys are unsure about how often to use social media, or when am I doing enough? So this is a quick plan that you guys can use. Either write it down in your notes or take a quick picture. Give at least 3 comments daily on your social media to other people. So this is like an actual comment where you go in and congratulate somebody on an achievement that they've accomplished. Happy birthday, your children and family are beautiful. You know, I love that outfit. I love your new hairstyle, whatever it may be. You know, spread that love, share that love, go in there and give 3 comments daily. Make sure that it's always something positive. Make sure that you're not, you know, being a downer. Please don't get into social media wars about politics or religion. You guys are doing nothing but hurting your business if you do that. So please stay away from that. On top of hurting your business, I'm just going to throw it out there. Like you're really just making your life harder. There's no reason to argue with anybody on social media, honestly. It's going to create this ball of negativity. We talk about mindset a lot. I have to say this because we talk about mindset so much, and it's because your mind and your mindset, everything trickles down from here. Everything trickles down from here. And if you are poking at the bear, don't be mad when the bear bites off your head. Like you're asking for it. So do what you can to keep your mindset positive also. You're going to go in, you're going to do 3 comments 3 comment likes daily. So also like other people's comments and like other people's posts. And then at least 1 post per week on your feed. That's on your feed. That's like the main one. But remember, you guys should be posting on your stories every day. I know it's a lot. If you're not using social media already, it's going to be a lot to achieve. So if you're not using social media already, start with a small challenge for yourself. Maybe you can start with like 2 stories per week and then go up to 3 and then go up to 4 gradually, because I want you guys to succeed. And if we're trying to create a new habit, we kind of have to start small. But if you're already using social media, then at least make it consistent by posting on your stories every day. Remember, your stories are there for 24 hours. So if you ever go into your stories and there's nothing in there, you haven't posted for 24 hours. Put something in there. It happens to me still. It is something that you have to get used to. You sometimes have to plan ahead, but you guys can make it happen. All right. We talked about cleaning up your database. And this is, again, going back into like, go into your contacts, guys. A lot of times agents are just kind of like, well, like, what are you doing for prospecting? Well, I'm calling, but I don't really know like who to call. Everybody knows I'm an agent. Go through your contact list. I guarantee you that it needs some cleaning. Okay. So D for delete. If there's somebody that you need to delete, just get rid of that contact. Remember, your contact list is also part of your database. Why would we want to delete them? We might want to delete them if the phone is not working anymore. If you're calling and the call's just not going through, just get rid of the number. If they're negative, angry, or unhappy people, again, it all goes back to mindset all over again. Remember, everything that you're feeding your mind is going to come back and it's going to affect you on a daily basis. So it is okay for you to eliminate negative people out of your life, and especially out of your contact list. Okay. If they really need you, they will call you. They'll find a way to find you, right? Focus on positive, cooperative, and happy people. It's your business. So just like we have our brand and we want to build our brand, keep in mind that your clients also help build your brand. Okay. And this is something that I didn't understand when I first started working, but I used to get very difficult clients. There was a while where I was just getting really difficult clients, like back to back to back to back. And if there's one thing I'm big on is owning your life. Like, you have to own your life. If there's something that you're getting too much of in your life, negatively or positively, you have to own it. And so I had to take a step back and like see, like, reevaluate, okay, what am I doing? What am I doing to attract these people? And I realized that a lot of my tendencies were very difficult, very negative, very pessimistic. And I had to start to shift my mindset and be okay with releasing certain clients back into the world and allowing for different clients to come into my world, if that makes sense. Sometimes you have to make the call to fire your client. Sometimes that's necessary, because the longer you keep them there, the longer they drain your energy and make you become resentful and pessimistic. And all of that energy, now you're giving to your new clients. Now your new clients are receiving that energy. So you guys have to also know when to make the call of like, you know what, this client is just not helping me and my progress and my mental state. I'm going to have to release them. And you can always refer them out to another agent. A brand new agent that has no deals will be more than happy to take on that client and give them a heads up. Give them a heads up. Hey, this is what I've been dealing with. This is where they're at. If you want to take them, go ahead and take them. I'm going to go ahead and move forward. Okay. So we talked about utilizing systems. This is going to go into your CRM. We've talked about that already. So I want you guys to take a quick look at this chart right here. Okay. 48% of salespeople never follow up with a prospect. 48%. That's almost half of salespeople that never follow up with their prospect. How many times do we need to touch base with a prospect? Up to how many times do we need to touch base with a prospect before we get a yes? Do you guys know? This is on average for salespeople, so not necessarily realtors, but for salespeople, on average, we have to touch base with a potential client 7 to 9 times before they're going to give us a yes. 7 to 9 times. Now, keep in mind, you guys are touching them when you don't know you're touching them. Why? Because you're on social media. That's why social media is so important, because you guys are touching them without even knowing that you're touching them. They're thinking about buying or selling a house months before they reach out to you. And if you're consistent on social media, and if they keep seeing the information that you're putting out, and if they keep seeing your call to action saying, hey, if you're thinking about buying or selling, make sure you reach out to me for a complimentary consultation. That's one touch. Then next week, it's another touch. Then next week, it's another touch. You have no idea that you've already touched them 7 to 9 times by the time that they get into your DM, right? Okay, so make sure that you guys are being consistent. Make sure that you guys are following up. 25% of salespeople make a second contact and stop. So for those of you that are following up, do not believe that after the second follow-up, it's enough. This one, I hear a lot of like, well, I don't want to bug them. I don't want to make them feel like I'm bothering them. I don't want to be the naggy salesperson, right? Always just keep in mind, look, if they've showed interest in what you're talking about, you're not bugging them. Okay. Think about, just put yourself in their shoes for a second. Okay. You have work. Some of you guys have school because we've got continued education. You've got your kids, you've got your significant other, you've got your house, you've got your family, you have all of this stuff going on in your life, right? If somebody comes and knocks on your door and they're selling a water system, for example, okay? They're selling a water system to help purify your water and get you better quality water. And this is something that you really do want to do. You're already sold on the idea. Matter of fact, I was already thinking about doing this before you happened to knock at my door, but it's not my priority right now because I have all this other stuff going on. For me, it's extremely helpful for you, the salesperson, to touch base with me and say, hey, just wanted to see if you were still interested. We have a special going on right now. Or, hey, I was in the neighborhood servicing somebody else. Just wanted to see if I could stop by. Like, for me, it's really not a bother that you're touching base with me because I do want that service. You just kind of keep catching me at the wrong time. Our schedules aren't aligning. Whenever you do touch base with me, like I want you to be there, but in that moment I can't. And so just put yourself in that position of like, don't take it personal when they're not available to you in that moment. Don't take it personal when they don't give you the yes right away. There's way too many other factors to take into consideration that you have no idea about. You have no idea what other factors are going on. We have COVID going on right now. A lot of people's families are sick. A lot of people have passed. We have breakups. Somebody might have just gone through a breakup and they're like, look, yeah, I want to sell a house or I want to buy the house, but like emotionally right now I'm drained. You know, they're not going to tell you that. So the point is, don't take it personal. Understand that there are hundreds of other factors outside of you that might just make it a little hard for them to link up with you in that moment or to give you the yes in that moment. Okay, is as long as you keep offering something of value, remember, as long as you offer something of value, you will not be bugging this person. So a lot of times I'll say, like, for example, let's say you guys meet a lead at an open house and you've already touched base with them, but then they kind of stop responding to you and you don't know how to follow up. Well, by that time, you usually kind of have an idea of what they like more or less. You at least know the neighborhood that they like. You can send them a quick text message with a link to a property that's listed in that neighborhood. Hey, Carlos, this property just came up on the market. I thought you might be interested in checking it out. Let me know what you think. And it's just you giving a little piece of value, and also to see like, are they really truly still interested, or am I just bugging them? You know what I mean? 12% of salespeople only make 3 contacts and stop. So you can see how gradually we as salespeople, because at the end of the day, we are still salespeople. Yes, we're advisors, but we're still salespeople, start getting discouraged. Don't get discouraged, because the most persistent and the most consistent always gets the deal. Okay. 10% of salespeople make more than these. 10% salespeople make more than these 3 contacts. Oh, so only 10% of salespeople are gonna go and make the three additional follow-ups. I have to tell you guys that some of my best listings, I know for sure, have come from more than 3 follow-ups. So if you're serious about helping this person, if you know, look, I know this person needs my services, I know that they want my services, and I know that I'm the best one to help them, this is where your confidence and this is where your mindset comes in. Don't think that you are a burden. Stop. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. They'll tell you when it's a no. If they're not telling you no, then you're not bugging them. You keep coming at them with that value proposition. Okay. Be mindful. If they're asking you for time, then take the time. If they're telling you to follow up in 2 weeks, make sure you put a note in there to follow up in 2 weeks, but they'll tell you no when it's no. Okay. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. 2% of sales are made on the first contact. So remember, there's a lot of no's before there's a yes. If you go in with the mentality of, if they say no right now, it's a no, you're going to lose a lot of potential clients, because only 2% of sales are made on that first contact. So we're not always the unicorn. We're very rarely the unicorn. So let's follow what the rules say. And the rules say that most people are going to tell us no before they tell us yes. Most people are going to need for us to approach them 5 to 9 times before they give us a yes. Just keep that persistence. 3% of sales are made on the second contact. Okay, so they're basically saying, hey, if you think by following up 1 time, you're going to make a big difference, we're only at 3% still. Okay. And then let me move this so I can read the others. How do I move this thing? 5% of sales are made on the third contact. Oh my God, 5%. So see, we're nowhere close to that yes yet. 10% of sales are made on the fourth contact. So we're getting closer. 80% of sales are made on the 5th to 12th contact. 5 to 12. Okay. If you don't want to be bugging people, make sure you have them on social media. I'm telling you, you are touching these people without touching them. You're not having to make the phone calls. You're just being present and making sure that you're constantly pushing your services. That's the easiest way for you to not have to feel that feeling of bugging. Now, when you're talking to your clients, make sure that you are listening before speaking. Okay, that's a big one. I always talk about like it's a give and take, and it's like this little dance that we have to go through, right? Make sure that you're always asking questions first before you're trying to sell yourself, okay? If you don't want to be a pushy salesperson, that's what you need to do. You need to listen and ask questions before you try to sell anything. How in the world are you going to tell me what I need to buy or what I need to do if you haven't even given me an opportunity to tell you what I need? As a client, how in the world do you know that you're the best realtor for me if you have no idea when I'm trying to buy, how much I'm trying to buy for, what neighborhood I'm trying to buy in? Me as a client, I'm like, do you even service these areas? Do you even service these prices? Do you have experience? Like it comes off a certain way. So make it a habit to always ask questions and ask the right questions. You want to identify what your clients want and what they need, and listen and take notes. You guys, I really can't tell you enough how much you need to take notes. You have to write everything down. You will not remember everything. So during trainings, write stuff down. During meetings with your clients, write stuff down. During showings, write stuff down. Make your clients write stuff down. That's another thing. I'm just going to throw this in, kind of random, but for those of you that are having a hard time getting your buyers to say yes, take your MLS sheets and give them to your client as you walk in the door. As they walk in the door, have them look at the sheet, but also have them write stuff down. When I do showings, I typically take a pad, like a notepad. I give them the listing. Hey, this is the listing we're about to see. I've highlighted information on there that I think is important for them to know, or information that I know that they're going to want to know. For example, they're going to want to know whether it's evaporative or refrigerated cooling. I'm going to highlight that. They're going to want to know the price. I'm going to highlight that. They're going to want to know maybe the year that it was built. I'm going to highlight that. And then on the bottom, I tell them what I want them to write down. Sometimes if I have a difficult client that I know I'm going to have a hard time with, I even write the question for them on every single sheet, because I want them to be really present there, and I want them to also pay attention. That's why writing stuff down is so crucial, because when you write stuff down, you have no choice but to pay attention. So you can also use this on your clients. Make them write stuff down. I tell them, write down anything that's memorable about the house. It doesn't have to be something you like or dislike, just something that's memorable. For example, if there's a big yellow rug in the living room, write that down on this sheet. Why? Because after we've seen a couple of houses, you're going to start to get them mixed up in your brain. And I want you to remember which is which. So something that's memorable. It might be the one with the pretty chandelier. It might be the one with the really, really big, pretty yard. It might, whatever it is that's going to make you remember this house. And then I also tell them to write down what they like and don't like. At the same time, I'm doing that also. As we're walking through the house, I have everything. I have the exact same thing that they have. I just have the realtor sheet and they have the public sheet. Okay. And I'll write down, okay, as they're going through, we're listening, right? We're listening to what they like and what they don't like. Don't push anything on them while you're viewing the house. You do showcase the house. For those of you guys that have been to the open house training, make sure you're showcasing the house. This is not just for open houses. This is also for showings. So if you're unfamiliar with that house, or if you're unfamiliar with that neighborhood, you guys need to make it a point to get in there early so that you can check it out first, so that you can showcase the home properly. But in there, you're going to write down, what I like or don't like. And then use your consultative approach. So this is where you're really like, okay, I know what they want and they need, and I'm constantly repeating that to them. Okay. So from the very first time that I talked to them, they told me that they want a house that's big enough, not just for the kids that they have now, but a house that's big enough to grow into, because they want to have one more child. Okay. And they've already told me that they need a single story home. And they've already told me that they need it to be close to a specific school. So those are the top 3 priorities, okay? You guys should always make sure that you have your clients' top 3 priorities, buyers or sellers. Know them by heart. You guys should know that by heart. And you guys should be repeating that back to them, because now when it comes to them making a decision, you become a consultant and you have to use your consultative approach. Okay, well, being that you told me that you wanted a house that's big enough to grow into with one more child, single story, and close enough to this neighborhood, this house definitely meets all of your needs. What's your concern? What is it missing? It's a lot easier for you to pin down, like, okay, and they're going to see also, like, you're definitely listening to what I need. I see that you're listening to what I need. I see that you bring me something that I need, and then stop and listen. Let them talk. Whenever your client is talking, don't interrupt them. Let them talk and listen. And if you have to take notes, take notes. And I guarantee you, you'll have a better result that way. Okay. Close leads, consistent communication, keep clients informed, even if there's no information. So again, this kind of goes back in, ties into what we were talking about. Now we're going to jump into listings. I was talking about buyers. I'm going to jump into your listings. Listings, make sure that you're constantly, and this goes both ways, but for listings especially, make sure that you're constantly keeping that communication open, even when there's no information to be told. For example, I make it a habit whenever I have a listing to touch base with them every Monday. Okay, every Monday I touch base with them and I let them know what happened over the weekend, even if nothing happened over the weekend. Like I know listings don't do, like we don't do this with listings anymore, but a few years ago, you could have a listing that would sit on the market for a few months before it sold. And so there was weekends that nothing really happened. You still call and you still let them know that. But the more consistent communication you have, the quicker you're going to be able to sell, because remember, the end goal is for you to sell their property. So let's say like the first 2 weeks, I'm really heavy on like, okay, open houses, door knocking, mailers, and we're heavy those first 2 weeks, right? And I always tell my clients, we're going to know within the first 2 weeks where we're at. We're going to know. It's going to give us enough information. Why? Because I'm going to do my job those first 2 weeks. I'm going to push your listing hard. We're going to do open houses, mailers, door knocking. We're going to do all of that. Social media, everything. Now, after those 2 weeks, I might say, okay, look, we're not having any more showings. We didn't have any showing requests. We didn't do an open house this week because I don't promise any of my listing clients open houses every single weekend because it's not possible. So I do it the first 2 weekends, but after that, they may or may not, depending on how much other work is like how many other listings we have. And at that point, after maybe like 2 weeks, you need to make sure that you're doing something also. Like there should always be something that you're doing for your listing, whether it's posting it on social media, door knocking, open houses, texting people, calling realtors that have sold in that area. Like you should always be doing something. But like, let's say there's no feedback, there was no viewings, you still want to call and let them know this. And this will go into a different training, but this a lot of times is what's going to help you get that price reduction. So we haven't talked about price reduction in forever because nobody needs a price reduction right now. It's a seller's market, but one day you guys will have to ask your sellers for a price reduction. And if you're not doing all of this, it's going to be really hard for you to ask for it, and it's going to be really hard for you to get it. And then that's how listings go expired, and then they don't get sold. And then they think that you're a horrible agent because you didn't sell their house. So that's what we're trying to avoid. We'll get a little more into it in a different training, but it all comes together. All right, so communicate with your referrals. Every closed transaction is a tremendous opportunity. This is something that I can definitely do better. I know this, but talk to your closed sales, past clients. Make sure that you're constantly asking for those referrals. So one thing that I typically do is on that very first meeting that you meet with them, make sure that you let them know that you work off of referrals. So whether it's a buyer's consultation or a listing consultation, let it be known that when I do a good job for you, I want to know that I did a good job for you because you're going to send me your friends and your family from the very first time that you meet them. Okay. When you're showing houses or when you're presenting their home, always ask for the referral. If they have a listing, if you're listing their property, for example, you can always ask for their friends or family's information to personally invite them to the open house. Now you're capturing information and you're getting to meet these people in person if they do decide to come to the open house. Buyers, you can always just throw it in there. Like, have you told any of your friends and family that you're looking for a house? Yeah. What did they say? Are they excited? Are any of them looking for a new house? Just kind of throw it in there. And then at closing, especially at closing. Make sure that you're always asking for that referral. I hope I did everything to your liking. I hope that you were pleased with my services. Do you know of anybody else that's thinking about buying or selling in the near future that I could reach out to and introduce myself to? By this time, you've been working with them for a few months. You've built plenty of rapport. They should like you by this time, and they should be willing to give you a couple of names. Okay. We talked about this last week. We were talking about your visibility on the internet. Has anybody since then that has not yet done so? Have you guys been Googling yourself, Google searching to see what's popping up? If you haven't yet, please do that. That's part of your homework from last week. Google yourself, make sure that you're visible on the internet. Make sure that you're, make it a habit to, like, maybe every 3 months, like every quarter of the year, go through your social media, go through your websites, any of your internet presence, and make sure that it's up to date, that it looks good. Remember, as we grow, our brand also grows. So something that might have looked good to you a year ago might not look good to you anymore. You may have changed your presence and your brand. So just make sure that you guys are being very aware of that. Do I need online presence? It's a key factor in how you generate and cultivate leads. It will pre-qualify you as a novice or an expert, and it's how your clients search for and select most all products and services on their daily lives. So, big question, do I need online presence? The short answer is yes, guys. You need some sort of online presence. If you don't have a full-blown website, remember that Realty One does provide a website for you. If you're unsure of how to do that, again, go into Zone. If you're unsure about how to do that, just shoot us a quick message or put it in the chat box. We'll give you like the link at least. But there is a free website that Realty One already provides to us. You guys will have that. On top of that, have your social media up to date and use it. It's like the 21st century version of a website. Did you know that even when you're applying for a job, that's the first thing that your boss is going to do, is they're going to go into social media to look you up. Your social media is your brand. That is you. That's whatever you put out. So please make it a point to make sure that you're putting yourself out there on social media. You guys have a smartphone. My brother told me this one time and it stuck with me for life, and I use it all the time now. He said, you have a smartphone, be smart and use it. I was like, okay, fine. But basically he's saying like, hey, you have the world in your fingertips. You have a dictionary, you have an encyclopedia, you have some of the greatest teachers in the world, free information. You have everything at your fingertips with this phone. Use it. Please use that resource. Okay. Social media platforms, more than 1.5 billion users are on Facebook and on Instagram. Don't you think some of these billions of users might be in the market to buy or sell? Very possibly. Create a time block in your schedule, use a simple weekly. So we talked about your weekly plan and then time blocking. Just another thing is, if you're new to social media, you may need a time block. Matter of fact, you're gonna have to time block if you're new to social media. Really quick crash course before we finish. How much time do I have? It is 11:22. All right, I'm gonna wrap it up here quickly. If you're unsure of when you should be on social media, use these 3 timelines: 9 a.m., let's say 8 to 9 a.m., noon to 1, so 12 to 1 p.m., and 5 to 6 p.m. You can't go wrong with those time frames. You guys can dive deeper into it because every platform has specific times where their usage is a lot higher. So again, as boring as it is, you guys, everything comes down to tracking. Okay, everything comes down to numbers. Twitter has different times when they have more users online. LinkedIn has different times where they have more users online. Instagram, Facebook, they all do. But just like kind of a rule of thumb, so you guys don't overthink it, 9, noon, and evening, 5. Those are the 3 hot times. If you're gonna post anything, you wanna make sure that you're getting as much exposure as possible. Post during those times. If you're posting on your feed, try to post during those times. If you're posting on your story, don't overthink it. Post at whatever time it is. Okay? And we're gonna finish off with that one. We'll come back and start here on the next one. This course is actually a lot longer than the other ones, so this is gonna be a 3-day course for this week. But we'll come back and we'll finish up on this one on Monday. Again, a lot of you guys have been doing really great with the homework. Some of you guys not so good. Really push and challenge yourselves to get online, Google search yourself, see what's out there about you, see if the information is correct. Get on your social media, make it a point to be on social media, put yourself out there. If we want the client to put themselves out there to us and to reach out to us and to go into our DM and hit that message button, that's scary for them, guys. That's just as scary for them as it is for us to post something. So if we want that from them, let's give it to them first, okay? It's the law of reciprocation. You get what you give. We got to put ourselves out there too. So put yourselves out on social media, showcase your beautiful families, showcase the beautiful homes that you're listing or that you're showing. They don't even have to be your listings. You can be out with a buyer and just get a quick clip. And then voicemails. Please work on your voicemails, okay? We want everybody to be tip top. Also Zone, for anybody that's unsure about this website that we have, you all have a website available to you through Realty One. This is part of what you pay for already. So this is all going to help you with your online presence. If you need help with that, please reach out to me and Anaí and we will point you in the right direction. All right. Other than that, I hope you guys have an amazing weekend. It's Thursday today. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you guys go out and kill it. Is anybody doing an open house this weekend? Any open housers this weekend? Nobody? Let me see. Let me scroll through this. Open houses? No open houses this weekend. Okay, that's okay. I'm really going to push for open houses next weekend. So if anybody is thinking about doing an open house next weekend, let us know and we will help you guys get set up with that. And then we also really want to help you guys promote each other. So just like you guys see each other here on the screen, we're all trying to grow and motivate each other on social media too, you guys. Like befriend each other, even if it's just on social media. Let's help push each other, okay? All right, I'm done. I know you guys are tired of me talking. I will talk to you guys next week. Wishing you guys a bunch of success this weekend. I hope you guys get a bunch of leads this weekend. If at any point you have any questions with your leads, you guys have my number. You have Anaí's number. Please reach out to us, okay? My number is 915-304-7896. You guys all should have Anaí's number. If you don't, text me. All right, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. You're
Bye-bye.
welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.